Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Monday, December 23rd, 2019.
It's currently partly cloudy and 30 degrees in Baltimore. Today's high will be 51 degrees, and the low will be 30.
Well, our beloved Baltimore Ravens continue their ride through the NFL in their franchise record 11 straight win after beating the Browns 31-15 yesterday, locking up the number one seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC for the first time in franchise history. This takes us to a 13-2 record on the season with one final game left at home this Sunday down at the bank against those division-hated rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Coach Harbaugh may rest most of the starters, giving them a 3-week rest before the divisional game down at the bank in January. Now, running back Mark Ingram got hurt later in the game, but that wasn't before he became only the third Ravens running back to rush for 1,000 yards and get more than 10 rushing TDs, along with Jamal Lewis and Ray Rice. Now, Ingram and Lamar Jackson became only the seventh pair of teammates to rush for 1,000 yards each in a single season, the first since Carolina Panther running backs Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams did it in 2009. Now, speaking of Jackson, whose jerseys has been sold out everywhere, he broke another franchise record with 36 TD passes compared with only 6 interceptions on the season. He threw for 3 more touchdowns yesterday and rushed for over 100 yards to cap off his MVP season. Now, after 7 people, including 3 teenagers, were shot outside of a downtown hookah lounge early Sunday morning, Baltimore leaders are again looking for answers to stem what police are calling a brazen level of violence, according to the Baltimore Sun. The shootings came in the middle of a violent 24-hour stretch that included 3 fatal shootings in East Baltimore, but in a nation grown too accustomed to mass shootings, it scarcely registered in national attention. In Chicago, moments before the Baltimore shooting, 13 people were shot in a home on the south side of Chicago. Elsewhere in Baltimore, a woman was shot to death late Sunday afternoon in a Patterson Park deli following the Saturday evening shooting death of a woman in a McElderly Park hair salon, and 3 hours later, and not too far away, a 24-year-old man was shot. All 3 shootings were within a handful of blocks of one another. On Sunday evening, a 35-year-old woman died after she was shot in the Kim Deli and Grocery Store on the 100 block of Kenwood Avenue, police said. A day earlier, a woman died after she was shot inside the Madam Beauty Bar at 241 North Milton Avenue. Now, Colonel Cherie Briscoe said that one or more suspects entered the salon around 6 p.m. Saturday while other people were there and shot the woman. About 3 hours later, police found a 21-year-old man shot in the torso in the 500 block of Linwood Avenue. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The latest shooting deaths bring the city's homicide count to 336 homicides in 2019, up from the 309 that we saw in all of last year, and just 7 homicides away from the 5-year highs of 342 victims reached both in 2017 and in 2015, and we still have 9 days left in the year. Now, the Baltimore's Brews Fern Shin is reporting that city solicitor Andre Davis says that Baltimore will stop using NDAs, otherwise known as non-disparagement agreements, better known as gag orders, to settle claims against the city. He declined to explain the decision in an interview, however, but stressed that it had nothing to do with the city council's ban on gag orders, a new law he still considers illegal and said that the city will not enforce. Asked if he would put the policy change, which would end a practice that he has defended for the past 2 years, in writing, and Davis replied with a firm no. Attorneys at the ACLU of Maryland, which had opposed the gag orders as an infringement on the rights of police abuse victims and journalists, said that they were encouraged by the news. Quote, what is motivating them is not important if they are no longer seeking to impose restrictions at all, said senior staff attorney David Rocha. We're just happy that they are going to be complying with the First Amendment and the new city legislation. But Rocha said that the city administration has been anything but clear on its policy regarding gag orders and should spell out in a new stance in writing. He cited Mayor Bernard C. Jack Young's September executive order announcing the end of gag orders that did not say what it seemed to say, because non-disparagement language was still being used. Quote, they made repeated false statements that they had stopped requiring people to sign these agreements when they actually hadn't, Rocha says. He goes on to say that even after the council enacted the legislation banning the use of gag orders and police misconduct and discrimination settlements, the mayor's spokesman said that the administration refused to enforce it. Now, David Jaros, a professor at the University of Baltimore School of Law, agreed that Davis's latest statements created more uncertainty and complicated the relationship between the attorneys and the people they represent. By continuing to refuse to enforce the council's law, Davis is leaving open the possibility that future administrations could resume using gag orders. He told the Daily Record, which first disclosed changes in the city gag order policy, this just yesterday. Now, Maryland Matters' Allison Stevens is reporting on the GOP-controlled United States Senate that heads into 2020 with few major legislative victories, but a significant one on the judicial front. A dramatic reshaping of the federal bench. According to Stevens, over the past 3 years, the U.S. Senate has confirmed 185 of President Trump's judicial nominees, more than any of the last 5 presidents at the same time during their presidencies. That tally includes a raft of nominees approved just before lawmakers left Capitol Hill for the holiday recess. Now, Trump touted his judicial appointments, including the confirmation of 2 United States Supreme Court justices, as, quote, the most incredible thing at an Oval Office news conference the day before that the U.S. House voted for his impeachment. He goes on to say it's unheard of that that's said to be the most important thing that a president has. Well, in addition to the 2 Supreme Court justices, the Senate has confirmed 50 Circuit Court and 133 District Court judges, most of whom progressive groups have decried as far-right ideologues. Of those, the vast majority are white, 85% of them being white, and 75% being male. So far, Trump's nominees comprise of about a fifth of all federal judgeships and nearly a third of circuit court judgeships. Now, the conservative, quote, takeover of the federal bench, one of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's top priorities, has profound implications for LGBTQ rights, reproductive health, voting rights, environmental protections, access to health care, and dozens of other issues, at least according to progressive activists. And a reminder to our dedicated state workers that Governor Larry Hogan has once again given state employees off for Christmas Eve, giving us a 2-day midweek holiday vacation, as reported on first by DMVDailyNews immediately following the announcement. So enjoy your holidays with your loved ones and make sure that you show some love to those who deserve it. And remember, if you'd like to donate a few dollars to keep these efforts going, like the DMV Daily Dose or the live stream Value My Vote 2020 debates and interviews that we have going on throughout the new year, simply go on over to www.paypal.me/DMVDailyNews and donate whatever you feel comfortable with. We thank you in advance. And I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your DMV Daily Dose for Friday, December 20th, 2019. For more information on the articles that I've mentioned, just go on over to our website at www.DMVDailyNews. And by the way, it's Monday, December 23rd, not Friday, December 20th. Of course, that was a gaffe, but it's the holiday season, so we'll leave it like it is. Happy holidays. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas.